Is this the best kitchen gadget you can buy right now? I've tested hundreds of different kitchen gadgets in the past, and I have a feeling it may be a contender. The first electric toaster was made over 100 years ago. But now that technology is better, maybe it is time to reinvent the wheel, or the toaster. With regular toasters, you kind of have to guess on which toast setting to use and how long to toast for. This one apparently helps you out with this screen to show you what your toast will look like. At first, I'm gonna toast this with the light setting, number 1, and compare if the results actually look like the image on the screen. So let's get our toast in there, select 1 on the screen, choose our bread, and hit the start button. And it's gonna automatically pull that bread down, and you can see the screen kind of gives you that update also of heating, so it lets you know roughly how much longer it's going to be. And then right now it looks like we are on the browning phase of this as well, and soon it will switch over to crisping with a countdown. And now our toast is ready. Let's see how it compares to the image here. I don't see much color on the toast at all from this one, which makes sense because we went with number 1. And just compared to the image, I feel like number 1 is a little bit off. I mean, I pretty much see no color on my toast at all. I'd say the image shows a little bit of toasting color. This one may be in the right lighting, but overall, I'd say it's a little bit less than the screen. Let's give it the benefit of the doubt and try number 3 as well. So putting the toast back in exact same way as before. It's all fully automatic, which is definitely nice. Here is what it looks like on the screen for number 3 there. So definitely a much darker color going on here, but let's start this and see how the result looks. And our toast at number 3 is ready. Immediately, I'm seeing definitely more color on this one. On the other side, it looks like we have better coloring, but let's get it compared to the screen as well. And even still, I would say that the coloring is definitely off here. I mean, I got a little bit of that darker color that the screen shows, but for the most part, this is definitely not colored to the same as the screen. But I do kind of want to give it the benefit of the doubt. Maybe my bread just has different coloring. I'm gonna test it out and see if I think a 3 is appropriate for the crispiness of this bread. Let's take a quick bite. And honestly, yes, even though you don't see it in the color, this is where I would expect a 3 out of 7 toast level to be in terms of the crispiness that I'm tasting. So color mismatches, but crispiness, spot on. But I do want to see if I can get the color to match on one of them potentially. So I'm going all the way up to number 7, the most you can toast this. Let's try that one out. And down this one goes at the 7, probably gonna take a couple minutes. And here's the results for number 7. I'm gonna show you the front side of it first, which got a little bit of color on there, but then the back side, which I got a little sneak peek on as I was pulling it out, we definitely are pretty crisp on that. And once again, just comparing to the screen's colors, this does kind of look like a burnt piece of toast, whereas this kind of has slight burn marks, but honestly isn't quite to the same color. But let's do one more taste test on it. Here we go. How burnt does it actually taste? Because at max setting, I would want this to be too burnt for me. Honestly, it is. You get a burnt flavor when you're eating this toast, which I think is overcooked, but I like that it has the setting. It has 6 different toast modes depending on what you're toasting. And it claims that the toast setting sears the outside of your toast, locking in the moisture. But is this texture and flavor noticeably different than other toaster ovens? I've toasted this one on a 4 setting, and I've got my toaster oven going right now on their 4 setting as well. I'm gonna see if I can taste test the difference. In my right hand right here came out of our smart toaster oven, and on the left right here came out of a regular toaster oven. Let's do a taste test. Starting with the regular toaster oven, and now to the smart toaster oven. So from close up, you can see a slight difference on the inside of the toast right there. The one from the smart toaster is slightly fluffier, though it's almost impossible to see. In terms of the flavor, I will say that the toaster tastes slightly better, but honestly, unless you have them side by side in your hand, you're probably not gonna notice a huge flavor difference. You can also use it to toast a frozen waffle, and it claims to thaw slowly, but crisp quickly. So let's see if that's true. Just like the toast, in goes our waffle, and on the screen, we'll just switch it over to our waffle setting and click frozen right here, and I'm just gonna go with a 5. I want it to be pretty crispy, and let's start that. Our waffle is now ready. Let's take a look at it, and honestly for a 5, I feel like this is more toasted than our bread was getting. It is super crispy there and probably what I would consider a little bit burnt, but is it crispy on the inside and does it taste good? Break it in half for the cross section. Does look nice and cooked through, nice and fluffy. And now for the taste test. And honestly, yeah, I would say this toasted our frozen waffle perfectly. It's a little bit on the burnt side for me, but it's super crispy. It's nice and fluffy on the inside. It's just how I would want it. The bagel mode claims to crisp the top of your bagel while softly toasting the bottom. That sounds like a perfect bagel to me, if it can pull it off. So let's find out. In goes our bagel, and it says to face the bagel inwards, so let's do that. And I'm gonna go down one to a 4 here since the waffle came out a little burnt for me, and select on the bagel and click start. Let's take a look at the bagels now that they are done. They look pretty much the same on both sides. I believe what the toaster was actually saying is that it crisps the inside and slightly toasts the outside of the bagel. And so far, you can hear the crispiness of the inside on the outside. I'm pushing on it and it does feel slightly toasted. There's some give and give back to it, so it's a little bit warmed, but definitely not as crispy as our other side. But how does it taste? Let's see if it tastes as it says. And you can even see, looking on the inside of the bagel, that it is perfectly fluffy on there. Honestly, I would consider this a 10 out of 10 toast on a bagel. Unlike the bagel mode, the English muffin mode, which apparently she likes English muffins, I don't know, apparently toasts both sides of your English muffin independently. So let's toast it up and see if it looks and tastes any different than the bagel mode. And here is our English muffin. Gotta be a little careful pulling that out. And this one does look super crispy on the inside, and even on the back side of the English muffin, you can see how toasted that back side looks also. It even sounds toasted on the back, and if we break it apart, it definitely feels crispy all the way through. But for a quick taste test to see, it is definitely noticeably different than the bagel, which leaves the outside of the bagel nice and soft. This has no soft parts to it. The pastry mode apparently just warms up the inside of your pastry. I have no idea how that's possible, so I have to try that one. I'm gonna put this one in here sideways. I think that'll work best, although it might be hard to grab it like that. So actually, I'm changing my mind. We're going vertical on the pastry so that I can grab it easier, kind of like a slice of bread. And I'll put both in just for the sake of testing 2 of them. And here we go. And I'm noticing that there's actually no toast setting with the pastry. It's just one option, so you don't get to choose how toasted you want it. So let's see how it comes out. All right, our Pop-Tart here. A little bit hot to the touch. Let's get one pulled out though. So you can see on the front side of our Pop-Tart right here, we definitely have a little bit of what I would say grill marks and a little bit of color on there and a slight amount of color on the back. So it didn't only heat the inside, which honestly is probably a good thing. Let's break it open and see what the inside looks like though. Nice and melty there. And now for the ultimate test, how does this taste? This is probably the best toasting consistency I've ever had with a Pop-Tart. The top is super soft. The inside is warm and runny and gushy with that flavor. It's a little bit crispy from the cracker. It's honestly perfect. If you throw a grilled cheese into a regular toaster, it's probably gonna fall apart and make a mess. This one comes with a toasty press to allow you to make grilled cheese with ease. Now, it better give me those beautiful grill marks. Let's try this out. So let's just build our sandwich in the press right here. I noticed that it's slightly wider than our bread, so I have to push it in just a little bit, but I don't think it's gonna mess up the sandwich too much. You just kind of have to squeeze that in there. Slice of cheese goes in the inside. I don't wanna put too much on my first one that I'm making, and then just close it. Pull the latch over on the press, and then I've got it latched shut on the sides as well. You can see that a little bit of bread is kind of coming out, so I'm just gonna get rid of the excess bread on both sides right there. A little bit of the crust doesn't fit, so if you have larger bread, I guess it doesn't fully fit inside of this. And now we switch it over to the bread setting right there, and in the lower left corner, there's the panini mode, so you press that. It says in the instructions to put it in the right slot. I'm honestly not sure which one that is, so I'm gonna go with this one, and I'm sure it won't work if that's not true. And then it says to toast at 6 or 7, so let's make a nice crispy grilled cheese. click on our panini and hit start. And since it went in there, I'm gonna assume I had the right slot. It probably didn't pull the other one down, or maybe this toaster doesn't matter anymore and the instructions are outdated. I don't know, but let's see the results when it's done. Our grilled cheese has now finished. Let's get it pulled up. The handles are not too hot, which is definitely good. Let's get this unlatched. I think I just pull it apart. Yep, simple as that. There's our grilled cheese on one side, and flipping it over, same thing, exact same look on both sides with this one. Gonna get this cut diagonally, and let's see if there's a cheese pull on it as well. Kind of assuming not, but it does feel nice to toasted. Our cheese pull is slightly successful, but not really. But let's still take a look at the inside. Oh yeah, you can see it is nice and melted and crispy on our sandwich. I mean, that's just beautiful. But now for the taste test. It's perfect, it's delicious. As you saw, the cheese is melty and gooey. It's crispy on the outside. It's everything you want in a grilled cheese. So the gadget obviously isn't cheap, but is the high price point worth it? It's definitely high technology. It can do a lot of things. It can toast pretty much anything, and the bagels and grilled cheeses and pastries came out to perfection. It also has a really easy way to clean it with the crumb tray on the bottom right here that's nice and long and pulls out all the way, and you can see everything that we've been toasting comes out inside of that crumb tray right there, so easy cleaning. So while it's hard to recommend at the price point, it is an excellent toaster and probably the best one I've ever used. If you need to save a few pennies after buying this one, this gadget gives you a way to make homemade yogurt way cheaper than grocery store yogurt.